Alright everybody, what's going on? It's Thundershot, and welcome back to another Expert Quest mission tutorial video thing that I'm doing here. Today we're going to be looking specifically at how to do Expert Missions 16 and 17. A couple small things before we go ahead and get right into it. 16 and 17 are currently all the Expert Quests available, aside from when raids go up on the weekends. And a lot of people are asking me, like, Thundershot, where are the other Expert Missions at? Because you can definitely talk to people around Canton City who claim that they've beaten, they're NPCs, but they've claimed that they've beaten 20 Expert Missions and 30 Expert Missions. And honestly, my best guess, guys, I do not know for sure, is that just over time, Bandai Namco is going to patch in more Expert Quests, apparently up to 30. I do find it weird that they left those NPCs around, even though the Expert Quests don't actually exist past 16 and 17, at least not to the best of my knowledge. By the way, even though today's video is going to be a guide on Expert Quest 16 and 17, the tactic that I'm going to be using is essentially good for just about any expert mission that you're going to run into, except for maybe the Great Apes. I might have to do a different video for how to deal with Great Apes. But yeah, you heard me right. This tactic that I'm using in this video works for pretty much every single expert quest. It's very similar. Not the exact same, but it's very similar to the tactic that I used in Expert Quest 15. I didn't have to do much testing to find out that this worked, and that this worked very well. We're going to go back to our main squeeze metal cooler, time breaker metal cooler here, and it's not going to be exactly like Expert Quest 15. If you didn't watch that tutorial, congratulations on getting past that Expert Quest without having to watch the tutorial, because man, was that Expert Quest hard. These guides are for offline only, but what we're going to be doing today with Metal Cooler is going to differ a little bit, mainly because the villains that you face, the opponents that you faced in Expert Quest 15 had a lot of different features to them. They had Time Breaker ultimates that were insanely difficult to deal with. They were constantly dodging regular melee attacks. They were using different Time Breaker snap vanish moves. There were multiple enemies. This is more of a, you face one enemy who is considerably weaker, or at least doesn't have nearly as many attacks, or nearly as strong attacks as the Time Breakers from Expert Quest 15 has, but you are on a time crunch. You only have 5 minutes to take out Vegeta, and after the intro screen and with anything else weird going on, it's actually a little bit less than 5 minutes, because the timer still counts as Vegeta flies in and as this cutscene happens. But no, the main point here is that it's a race against time, and honestly, you can mock up any create a character list that you want for your custom character. I'm not going to be messing with that today. Today we're just going to be focusing on Metal Cooler, because it's a very easy option, and I know for a fact it works. I play around a little bit here. As you can see, for example, I might be doing some Rage Saucers that aren't working at all. I'm trying to land extra super moves. I was still kind of doing a feeling out when I was recording this part of the video to see what worked and what didn't. And the conclusion that I came down to is chasing them down and death beaming them. Remember, you can tap square 3 times when you death beam to death beam up to 3 times. Chasing them down when they're flying away and death beaming them, and then when their stamina is low or gone, or you see that they're stuck in one spot, throwing Cooler's Supernova also seems to work very, very well in these situations. There is no ultimate finish to these, so you don't have to worry about doing a certain amount of damage. You don't have to worry about getting it within a certain time limit, because whatever you do is going to be the ultimate finish. There's no extra, there's no bonus like there was in Expert Quest 15. And essentially, yeah, there's not a whole lot you have to watch out for with Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. This is really the extent of it. In fact, it's almost to the point to where I didn't make this video. I almost didn't make this video because it was like, I know a lot of people are wondering how to do this, but this is such an easy concept, and it's such an easy idea of just be Metal Cooler, chase him down, spam Death Beam, spam Supernova. I didn't know if it needed its whole video. In fact, in the future, I probably, for things this small, I normally announce like how to do this stuff on Twitter. I normally answer these questions on how to beat this on Twitter. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, that is in the link in the description down below, along with my Twitch page. You can ask me questions while I'm live streaming Xenoverse 2 over there as well. We had a lot of fun live streaming these raids. The big evil raids with Cell and Great 8 Baby the other day. I did put a video up on that if you haven't seen it yet. But yeah, there's really not a whole lot to these. I found myself not only beating these missions with relative ease, but getting the Z rank, and all I did was mix up super attacks and ultimate attacks. And I didn't even mix up super attacks. I chased him down, I did Death Beam, and then occasionally I would throw a Supernova. I would throw a Cooler Supernova. You might not get this on your very first try. Sometimes it's a little bit RNG based, because these are offline guides, and the AI for offline is incredibly stupid. So a lot of times you notice that I don't always just throw Cooler Supernovas willy-nilly, because the AI is constantly knocking Vegeta away, and they will knock Vegeta out of your ultimate, so you got to be kind of careful with that. So I kind of wait either until Vegeta's super low on stamina, his stamina is broken completely because that's a free shot, or when I think he's going to be stuck there for a second. Those are pretty much the only times that I throw Supernovas. Those are pretty much the only time that I throw my ultimate at all. Something to keep in mind, I didn't test it too much. I imagine this quest would also be relatively easy online, because you'd have multiple people just spamming ultimates. If you're having trouble getting it offline, I would suggest maybe going there. Something to note, your attacks will not do as much damage online. If you are online, offline kind of knows that you're the only person going to be doing damage. Your attacks do a lot more damage when you're playing an offline play, but online your damage gets nerfed to compensate for the fact that you have other other beings playing with you, other people who actually know what they're doing that aren't the dumb AI trying to help you defeat these. So that's just something to keep in mind. However, I do still think everyone spamming ultimates at Vegeta at the same time would make online a lot easier. But guys, as far as this Vegeta mission is concerned, that's really all the advice I have to give. Goku plays out a little bit differently, so when we get to him, I will start talking about how he plays differently and what exactly you do. It's not vastly different, but Goku's mission has a different mechanic that a lot of people see and get really afraid of, or they think it's really difficult. So we're going to talk about that when we get to that. But for now, I do want to throw out a reminder. If you guys are having trouble with any expert quests, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. Thundershot, I'm having trouble with this expert quest. How did you do it? Give me a how-to guide on how to beat this expert quest. But keep in mind, try this first. Try being Metal Cooler and spamming Death Beam and Cooler Supernova, because this works for almost all of them. The only thing I could think that it wouldn't work very well for might be the Great Apes. There might need to be a different method for dealing with the Great Apes, but other than that, this method is flawless. It's super easy. Anybody can pick up, chase him down, Death Beam him, Supernova him, and that's pretty much it. If we're not already to the Goku footage yet, I'm just going to let the rest of the Vegeta footage play out so you guys can see how it goes, and then I will meet you guys when we get to Goku, so BRB. Okay, so here we are on the Goku mission. If you guys don't know the location of it, Expert Mission Quest 15 is on the left side of the school if you're looking at the school. Goku's Expert Mission Quest 17 will be just on the other side of the school. You just turn and look to the right, and then Goku's Expert Quest is right there. You're going to have no trouble finding it. It is almost right next to Expert Mission 16, so you're not going to miss it. Now here's the part where Goku's mechanic comes into play. Goku's mechanic, you start out at about a minute 30, about a minute 20 after the opening cutscene happens. This is where everybody freaks out. And from what I can tell, it's every time you get Goku down about a bar of health, maybe a bar and a half. I haven't completely zoned in on what exactly triggers it, because there are a lot of times when it looks like it triggers at different points in his health bar, so I haven't quite got 100% feel out on it yet. If anybody knows the answer to this, feel free to let me know in the comment section down below. But about every bar to bar and a half that you get of Goku's health drain, you get 20 seconds added to your timer. And one thing you'll notice is I play around a lot this mission, and it still doesn't even really get close. I do stupid stuff. I'm throwing supernovas at stupid times. I'm not always death beaming like I should be. I might try to do a dumb super attack every now and again. I have supernovas that are missing. I feel like I got bad luck and didn't play this very well, and I still passed this mission with a Z rank. I did this quest one time off camera actually, and I did so well on it with Metal Cooler that I actually ended with more time than I started with. You start with a minute and a half, but I was taking down Goku's health bar with this method so quickly that I ended with more time than you actually start with when you begin. So this quest is entirely possible, even if it looks difficult. Metal Cooler is just your guy. I had kind of a weird comment out there, and I don't think everybody has this problem, but I had kind of a weird comment that says, if you don't use your created character, do you still get the grade? Does it still count? Yes, you can use any character on the roster. The reason I picked Metal Cooler is because after you beat the game once, anybody can use him. He's not locked away behind some late game parallel quest. You don't have to wish for the Dragon Balls for him. There's nothing weird like that. I just wanted somebody that I thought everybody could use relatively easily. And then yeah, once you actually get to battling Goku, it's a lot more of the same. One thing I will say is that the map is a lot bigger, so Goku can get knocked further away, and the AI will knock Goku further away. So whatever you're doing, if Goku's locked onto you, that's best case scenario for spamming ultimates. If Goku's locked onto you, because he's always going to be flying to you, and you should be able to hit your ultimate with relative ease that way with the AI beating up on him and whatnot. But with the map being a lot bigger, something to keep in mind is always fly to Goku. It's not as big a deal with Vegeta, again, because the map isn't quite as huge. But with Goku being able to get knocked like what feels like miles away from you sometimes by the AI because this map is just so huge, always fly to Goku. Obviously before spamming Death Beam, because Death Beam has an extremely short range, but before spamming the Cooler Supernova ultimate as well, in particular, because the longer that Supernova has to travel to hit him, the less likely it is that it's going to hit him. So always go up to Goku, always fly up to Goku, hit him with the Supernova. If their stamina is ever broken and you have the key for it, for the love of God, throw a Supernova, because it's probably going to hit and it will do a bunch of damage. The Supernova for me was taking about a fourth of Goku's health bar, maybe almost closer to a half sometimes if the AI was beating up on him or if he didn't use an escape move or anything like that. But yeah, this mission's for the more of the same. Charge up with your darkness mixer, fly up to Goku, death beam him a little bit. If his stamina ever breaks, throw a Supernova. If you think he's not going to go anywhere for a second, throw a Supernova. If he's flying to the other end of the earth, chase him down, death beam him. Don't let the AI take over, because they will knock him around a lot. And again, you might not get this on your very first try, and if you don't, that's okay. This method will work most of the time, but with the AI constantly knocking Goku around and the chance of your attack missing sometimes, or you know, Goku playing it smart and always saving his escape move for your supernova and stuff like that. You might not get it on your very first try, but this is a relatively easy method for picking this one up. I do want to remind everybody once again that if you're having trouble with any other expert quest, use this method first. And if you still can't get the expert quest with the metal cooler spam method, then feel free to come back and ask me, hey Thundershot, I need help with this expert quest. How do you do this expert quest? Because metal cooler doesn't work. I tried it. Then feel free to come at me. And if you guys want any more tutorials, oh, by the way, real quick question to close this out. Is there a quicker way to get TP medals than this? This is me asking you guys. I know I'm supposed to be the expert here, but this is me asking you guys. Is there a quicker way to get TP medals than to do these missions? Because Vegeta's mission, for example, you only have 5 minutes. Goku's mission might end up being 5 minutes, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less by the time you get done. With the time changes and whatnot. But is there a way to get 16 TP medals faster than just doing Expert Quest 16 and 17 over and over again? Because they are relatively quick, and with this method, you can do these almost every single time. Just out of curiosity, I want to know if anybody else in the comment section has found a quicker way to grind TP medals, because if this is the case, I might end up making a TP medal guide on this very same thing as well. But it looks like I'm running out of time here. That's going to wrap it up for me, guys. I want to thank you guys for coming out. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a like and subscribe for more Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 content. As always, I'm Thundershot. I'm out. Peace, late, and we will see you next time. Have a good one, everybody.